natural to have a negative self-talk kind of rhetoric thing that you play in your head.
That's huge because unfortunately, especially within the Caribbean community, within the Black community, is still, even in 2025, it's still very taboo.
I think each time I learned a little bit more about myself, I got a clearer insight as to like what motivates me, what drives certain decisions.
Welcome to The Narrative, a podcast of untold stories, a place where silence is broken, secrets are unearthed, and stories find their voice. I'm Dr. Crystal Ann England, therapist, storyteller, and your guide for healing through truth. From intergenerational wisdom to identity, race, purpose, and power, this is a sacred space for the stories we were never taught to tell, but always needed to hear. Because healing begins when our stories are spoken. First of all, tell the people them who you are, Kamal. Like who are you?
I think you have to differentiate between who am I and what do I do, right? Typically when people say introduce yourself, you start with like what it is that you do. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I'm a man on a journey. I'm a man on a journey, and I do my best to stay as present as possible. And that has allowed me to achieve what some may say would be success in different arenas. Business, I started a gym about 12 years ago. We've expanded to 3 locations and a very, very, very popular outdoor dance class called Soca Step, started by Romika Gardner. We've collaborated with a bunch of different cities, did like a nationwide tour. So that's the business side. I was born in America. My dad is from Trinidad. My mom is born in America too. So Caribbean American.
It's the first time I'm realizing this. So wait, dad is Trini and mom is American.
My mom is American, but you wouldn't know it because she's the first one in the Juve line when it's time for Juve, right? Like she make macaroni pie better than some Trinis that I am there. Like you would not know it.
Mom is a Trin.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So Caribbean culture, Trinidadian culture heavily influenced me. Growing up, I played the steel pan. I played soccer. Into a lot of
I never knew that. Wait, so you played the steel?
yes.
So you are
Football.
You are a Renaissance man.
Right. I think that's fair. Yeah, I played college soccer actually. I played at UCF, and then I transferred to FAU and I played there, and that's where I graduated from.
What stopped you from going further?
Injury. Like any decent, ball player, your goal is to play professionally. You know what I'm saying? Like from you're small, you're envisioning being on that big stage. But the thing that they tell you about, but you don't really understand until you get there, is injury. Like I tore my quad. I had a herniated, not herniated, but I had a hernia, like a sports hernia in my groin. I rolled both of my ankles really bad. And that's essentially how tailored fitness started, because when I graduated college, I was like, okay, like I'm going to go on these trials, do these different tryouts. But I kept re-injuring myself in the tryouts. And it was frustrating, right? Because, you're on the doorstep of your dream and you're unable to give it your all, That may have been the first time that my intuition took over and led me in a direction that I wasn't sure what was going to happen. You apply the principles that you've learned to be successful at soccer. You apply those principles in business, and wouldn't you know it, things work out.
Wow. And I mean, I can't even imagine how frustrating that must be, where in your mind and in your heart, you're this athlete that you right, like you said, you're on the doorstep of your dreams, but your body is like, no, I got other plans for you.
Yes. Yes. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. I think that I was blessed with two parents that always let me know it was bigger than the sport, right? And when you really think about it, right? Like from a 10,000 foot view, playing sports is entertainment, right? Like you get what I'm saying? I
Well,
don't know
hold on now, Kamal. These
yeah,
are fighting words. These are
I
fighting
don't
words
I
because you know, for the Black community, it's the way out. And when you call the way out entertainment,
right, 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 right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. When you really zoom out, you get what I'm saying.
wow,
And I think that's why you have a lot of mental health issues with athletes because okay, you arrive, you get on the big stage, you make the money, and then what, right? Like
then what?
what? Like you can't I don't want to say undo, but like you know how they say only so long fake thugs can pretend, right? Like
Yep.
it's only so long that you can put off finding out what your purpose is. You get what I'm saying? And you might be on this conveyor belt, you know, or this hedonistic treadmill, right? Where you want the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And then experience lets you know that like it's not about the next thing, it's about now. And if you can't split apart what it is that you do from who you are, then I think that that's what leads to I mean, you're licensed and stuff. This is above my um pay grade, but
No,
that's my personal opinion. You get what
but
I'm saying?
Kamal, but you're so right.
Yeah,
And I've worked with over the years several football players, former athletes, and it's always the same story. Having to find identity after the
yeah,
sport is done, right? Because and
yep,
I think that's the part that seldom do people talk about is that there will come a day the sport is done.
yep,
So, right? So who are you? What is your identity outside of that? And I'm so glad that you had parents like you said, mom and dad who encouraged you to look at, the bigger picture. What
of
is
course.
outside of sports?
Right. Agreed. Agreed. Yeah. Agreed. I was definitely blessed um to have that. One of the things that was interesting is I was probably 2 years into tailored fitness, and I had buddies that had went on to play professional soccer, right? Like, some guys playing in the MLS, some guys playing overseas, some guys playing for national teams. And we all follow each other on Instagram and stuff. And they're living my dream, right? My dream. And they would
Yeah.
DM me and be like, yo, I see what you doing. And I'm like, oh,
What do
okay.
you mean?
Me with these 30 people in the park? Okay. You know what I'm saying? And I think, you know, real recognize real. I think they recognize that okay, they're in the position that we've all wanted to be in, but they start to think, well, what am I going to do after? You get what I'm saying? And I think that was part of it.
Wow. And isn't it so interesting? Sometimes we're in it and we don't see it. We can't see it, right? It's like, ugh, you feel like you're just like on life's treadmill and you're not getting anywhere. You're not gaining momentum. But then other people are like, "Oh my gosh, I see what you're doing. I see what you." I mean, so when do you feel like now, all these years in, that you finally feel that way with where you've accomplished, like what you've accomplished and where you are?
That's something that I have struggled with. I've gotten better for sure. I was doing therapy for like probably like a year and a half, 2 years. And when I approached my therapist, I told her, I said, listen, I don't like there's not an individual thing that I'm like, I want to talk about this. You get what I'm saying? But I do know that having a unbiased professional to talk to will allow things to bubble up and we could like kind of go from there. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that bubbled up, which I didn't really recognize, is I guess my desire to focus on the next thing. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to like understanding that the thing that you're working on right now 6 months ago was the next thing. So it makes sense to at least acknowledge this, and that's something that I've gotten much better at. You know what I'm saying? I'll be at the studio and it's busy and I'm like, oh man, I gotta do all these reach outs after session, and then I'll say, well, wait a minute, I wanted it to be busy, right? Like this is what I wanted 3 months ago. So it is important to take those moments, and I think it's a conversation you have to have with yourself often. I think it's natural to have a negative self-talk kind of rhetoric thing that you play in your head, and therapy really helped me, and journaling, and working out, and my self-care toolkit. You know what I'm saying? Um those things allowed me to, you know, be more present, celebrate my small wins, even if things don't go the way that they I wanted it to go. Then you still celebrate the effort, you still celebrate the feedback, you get what I'm saying? Like each opportunity is an opportunity to celebrate, win, lose, or draw.
But Kamal, even the fact that you were courageous enough to say that as a Black man, as a Caribbean Black man, that you
Yeah.
go to therapy, that's huge because
Yeah.
unfortunately, especially within the Caribbean community, within the Black community, that's is still, even in 2025, it's still
Yeah.
very taboo, right?
Right.
This idea of men going and talking to someone and yes, allowing things to bubble up, because a lot of times we think, okay, well, I'm going to go into therapy and I have this agenda of things I want to talk about. But the truth is, there's so many things that we're not even aware
Oh
of.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, when you think about even your therapeutic journey, you said you've been in therapy for about a year and a half, 2 years now. How has your life changed since even being open to talking to someone and trying to allow things to bubble up and have
Yeah.
conversation?
Yeah. Well, firstly, even seeking out the therapist again, this was probably like 4 years ago, three, four
Okay.
years ago. Yeah, I didn't. I I never understood why it was frowned upon or taboo for men to seek out therapy, right? Like to me, like that doesn't make any sense. Like I've always felt like there's more to men than just like their status and what they do. You get what I'm saying? And I'm very outspoken, like within my friend group, you know, um, about journaling, about self care, about going to sleep on time, about, you get what I'm saying? Like making sure that you're good and being transparent, and not holding things in and pretending that everything is all right. Sometimes I might be too, transparent, if that is a thing. But therapy really allowed me a space to get a second opinion, right? Because you know or a unfamiliar opinion, right? Because everybody else in your circle you're familiar with. You get what I'm saying? The conversations that you guys are having is very familiar, and they're also not necessarily professionally trained. I'm sure when you talk to your friends, you turn off the therapist hack, like, yeah, and tell me more, right? Because I'm not clocked in. You get what I'm saying? Like it's like me when I see my clients at like a baby shower. They're like, "Oh, don't watch me get my second plate of meatballs." I'm like, "Girl, I do not care. I am clocked out. I am clocked out right now. You could take a plate home. I don't care." So yeah, right? Like your friends can only do so much. Like your parents can only do so much. You get what I'm saying? Like, you know, talking to a stranger at a bus stop can only do so much. But getting a therapist, it gives you a license to essentially, they I don't want to say they act like they're a stranger that gets to know you, and like that's their job, right? Like a friend, it's like reciprocal. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm your friend, you're my friend, right? Like we're both friends. You get me? But a therapist, like, no matter how much they get to know you, they maintain that position of like the expert or the authority, and you're essentially hiring them to always check you when you're in the wrong. And like when you get older, it's hard to find people to hold you accountable. Like that's just what it is, right? And I feel like therapists fit that mold. The dentist holds you accountable with your dental hygiene. Your physician, you get what I'm saying? And and everybody is being held accountable to everything else except their mental health. So it's like it just makes sense, to have a therapist to hold you accountable and to, when you say certain things, say, what did you mean by that? It's like, oh boy.
Oh, oh, here we go. Here we go. All right, let
Yeah.
me talk about this.
Yeah.
So
So
wait, Kamal, with everything, with having the kind of success that you've had, both as an athlete, but also now as an entrepreneur, having your own business. Now I'm just gonna say this, Kamal. I'm gonna just put it out there. You know, one might say that you might be, the ladies' delight. So what might how has that been maneuvering through, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
dating and owning a business and trying to like know when someone actually likes you because they like you
Mhm.
versus liking you because what you got or what they hope you got or think you got.
Ooh, yeah. That's it's interesting. It's interesting. The thing that I've always done is observe. Even I can remember from when I was like 17, 18. Like I've always been an observer. Sometimes probably too much, analytical, right? Like seeing this behavior pattern, and then 3 weeks later, like seeing it again. I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
This is interesting, sometimes to a fault because that it's made it difficult to date anybody, right? Because I have such, I guess I have these boundaries that I was setting since 18, 19. It's like if you talk to me crazy, that's not gonna work. You get what I'm saying? You're having a bad day and you're unable to communicate that. That's not gonna work. The Instagram trope is, women don't necessarily care for being held accountable, and that put me in positions where I'm just like, well, I'm just gonna be by myself. You know what I'm saying? Like since I was 18, I think I had been I had there were like 2 or 3 stints where I was celibate. And
And
I was
what were
like, I'm
you,
not. You feel it?
but during those times, Kamal, what were you hoping to achieve in your celibacy?
Casual partnerships weighed on my mental health because somebody always ended up getting hurt. There were times where I ended up getting hurt more than not. The other person ended up getting hurt, and I didn't like that, and it made me feel bad. You get what I'm saying? And I had to check myself, and I'm like, just because of your own selfish desires, I mean, you're adults. You're agreeing to something. You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we just chilling, da 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 da, blah 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 blah. But naturally, right? Like people catch feelings, and I had to face the facts, and not be delusional and say like, just spend this time with yourself, right? Do your reading. You know what I'm saying? Like, get up, work out, exercise, connect with your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's other things you could do, right?
Your
You
whole
could,
life
you could,
don't need to be out here dating and chasing tail,
right?
right?
You could save some money too.
You sure can,
Um,
especially as the
yeah,
man.
right. You could save some coins. Um, so my hope was to primarily not to hurt anybody else, leave any, yeah, not to hurt anybody else. And then secondarily was really like to pour into myself. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, pour into myself and achieve what it was that I was trying to do, whether it was read 2 books a month or, run 20 miles for the month or, wake up at 5. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
those that's really what I was trying to get out of it.
And do you feel like you accomplished those things, or was it really difficult for you?
I did. I did. And like I said, I did it like 2 or 3 times. So I think each time I learned a little bit more about myself. I got a clearer insight as to like what motivates me, what drives certain decisions. You get what I'm saying? And after the third time, I think I was really in a good space, because that also included like masturbation. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, yeah, I don't want to say, all right, well, I'm not having sex, but I'm gonna still be, masturbating. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
you're
dude,
not,
because
you're
then
not, you're not
what's the
really
boy? It's the same.
right. Like you're not really accomplishing what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah,
So once I did that, that was like the final boss. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, all right, I'm good. And
yeah.
honestly, from that moment, any relationship or yeah, like relationship, any relationship that I had gotten into, the woman approached me, right? Because I'm just like, hey, listen, I go to bed at 8:30, okay? I wake up at 5, right? I cook at home. You know what I'm saying? I'm not out at parties. I mean, carnival, obviously.
But that's a
Obvious.
tradition. That is a way of
Yeah,
life.
yeah,
That is,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah. But outside of carnival, I stopped partying probably, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like before I was 30. So yeah, I would say I definitely got better with each one, and I got more from it each time until the last time where I'm like, okay, like I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand.
so now where are you at? Like, do you have hopes and dreams of becoming a dad and getting married and having a family? Or are you still in the phase of like, I'm grinding, doing what I need to do? Where are you at?
Yeah, yeah. So I have a girlfriend. We've been together for about a year, and things are amazing. Things are great, right? Like things are so good. And what's funny, you just mentioned like what stage are you at? This is our second or third time dating. The first time we were dating, I was in the hustle stage, and that's part of the reason why it fizzled out. You know what I'm saying? So with business growth, it's allowed me to pour back into my personal life and reap the benefits of getting some of my time back. Like when I first started, I was working every day, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. Like it didn't matter. I was working every day, and over time, as the business grew, I was like, okay, let me start doing less. You know, let me start doing less. Let me focus on the things that matter the most, the things that are going to drive the business forward. Okay, I'm good enough as a trainer. Let me hire another trainer. Let me train them up, right? So now I can take a Thursday off. You know what I'm saying? So I think the two go hand in hand, right? Like where you are in business and where you could be in a romantic relationship. So it's been synergistic, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what I think, a lot of times if we're in this phase of life where we're still building, we like to think that we can multitask. Kamal, we as humans, we're not created to do no multitask. That means something is gonna fall,
Agreed.
right? So for sure, when you were in that state of hustle and you're working on your business, I can understand why maybe relationships fizzled in that relationship. And now that you're being intentional about like, okay, I built this up. Now I can kind of slow down and allow it to do what I created it to do, which is kind of be self-sufficient in some ways.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. And I mean, so as you are growing, because all of this to me sounds like growth and evolution. So as you're growing, evolving as a man, what are you hoping for the next phase of your life to look like?
The next phase of my life would look like more time freedom because at the end of the day, time is the only currency, right? Like 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 time is the resource. You get what I'm saying? And early in your career, hustle, 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 grind, grind, grind to get to a point where you could buy the things that you would want, a house, a car. You get what I'm saying? Like a vacation 2 times a year. And I think it's easy to get stuck in that mode and not understand that once you check off all those boxes, right? Then what? You get what I'm saying? You better figure something out before you have a midlife crisis. you know? And this is why I am such a strong supporter and believer in entrepreneurship. Even if you have a 9 to 5, you have a skill that somebody else finds valuable. And if you know how to market, if you know how to sell, you could generate an extra couple $1,000s a month to allow you to work one less day, right? And that one less day you can spend with whoever you want. You could do whatever you want. You can garden. You get what I'm saying? Like and I think that is what my next phase of life looks like, is getting as much of my time back as possible to deploy, you know, on the things that I truly want to see grow and flourish and nourish.
Yes. And I'm so glad you brought that up, Kamal, because sometimes I think, in our society, we talk so much about hustle culture and grind culture. And I don't know about for you, but what I know about you, you know, based on our previous interactions over the years is sometimes we're chasing these things like big car and, big
Yep.
house and
Yeah,
jewelry
yeah,
and taking
yeah, yeah.
trips. Right,
Seven
all the
series,
things.
7 series, yeah. AMG.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the truth is, as you get older, if you're evolving and growing, you realize that the real wealth is time.
Yeah. That's a big if. If you're evolving and growing, that's a big if. Because people at their big grown age still don't. Mm-mm.
Chasing the
No.
house and car and
Yeah.
trips, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And what's so unfortunate about that is the more you chase after it, the more you're attaching yourself to working more hours. You get what I'm saying? Like, yes, you could buy those things, but then like you handcuff yourself to being in this place from 9 to 5. You get what I'm saying? Like, you know. So sorry to cut you off, but yeah,
no, no. Yeah, but you're absolutely right. And I wish more people understood that sooner.
yeah,
Because I
yeah.
think old people, right, when they
They
get
get
to a certain age,
they get it.
they get it.
They get it. They
Because
get it.
part of it is whether or not, and going back to your heart and your mind are willing, but your body says absolutely not, right? As you get older, you your heart wants to go and travel to for example Portugal, right? And your mind, and this time you might have the means to do it because you're older, you saved for retirement, but now your knees are like, where the hell you going? Who about to go up them steps up and down in Portugal? Who? Not you.
You don't know how steep them hills are.
Girl, go sit down. Go sit down. Go. You're not going to, you can't even survive on the plane ride to Portugal, much
You
more
can't.
the steps.
You got on the leg sleeves because your circulation already a little sticky. We shit. Yeah,
Rubbing in there, rubbing banging. Like, what?
got the whole plane smelling like Ben Gang.
Plane. Okay. So the sooner we realize that
Yeah,
And I always go in my mind, I always think about this. Like, what's the secret to life?
Hmm.
Right? Like, if you could think about the secret to life in your experience as you've gone through this life, what do you think is the secret to life from your perspective? What is it?
The secret to life. That's a layered question. I think religious texts does a pretty good job at pointing us in the right directions. It makes sense, you know, when you have a child and you're trying to raise them the right way so they can do the right things and contribute to society. It makes sense to bring them up, in church or in the mosque, or you get what I'm saying? Because religious text, I think, points generally in the right direction of be a good person, right? Be a steward of your resources. If you can help somebody, right? Don't have sex with your neighbor's wife, right? Like that kind of makes sense, right? Like that, you know, that kind of makes sense. Work hard, you know, don't be lavish. Don't spend on a bunch of things. You get what I'm saying? Like the thing that I think about a lot, I guess, at this point in my life is that there have been billions of people that have done this already, right? There's been like billions of people that have lived 80 to 85 years. You get what I'm saying? And who am I to think I have to learn it my way, right? Like who am I to think that like my experience is the only thing that matters. You get what I'm saying? Whereas when making a decision, it kind of makes sense to borrow from other people's experiences, especially if their end result is what I'm looking for now, right? Like if I want to get in shape, it makes sense to talk to somebody that has achieved it, right? So if I want to live a good life, it makes sense to pull from resources and talk to people and have conversations. You get what I'm saying? About that subject matter. And fortunately enough, it's been widely covered, right? Eat well, go to bed on time, be patient with the people that you love, have a growth mindset, right? Pour into people, be selfless. You know what I'm saying? Settle down with one person, have a family if you like. But I do think doing life with somebody is pretty important. You know what I'm saying? I do think that that's, part of it. Have good friendships. Do a bunch of favors for your friends. You get what I'm saying? I just feel like ultimately and this is a business principle that works as well, is you do more for others and eventually you'll get what it is that you want. Eventually, right? But I think people have a hard time with delaying their gratification. They want it right away. You get what I'm saying? And that is if there was the opposite to the secret to life, like if there was the opposite where it's like this is not a secret, like this is something that you shouldn't do, it's instant gratification. You get what I'm saying? Like if you want to live a life not necessarily worth living, then just seek instant gratification all the time. Everything you do.
I love that. That is such a wonderful perspective, Kamal. Thank you. Because I hadn't even thought of that, right? That the delay of gratification, that and like you said, the principles of religion, and not just any specific religion, but just religions in general. The principle, because they all
Absolutely.
pretty much, when you water them down, they all kind of funnel down into the same principles
Correct.
of just being the best person you can be, helping those around you. Yeah, delaying that gratification. Kamal, I appreciate you. I was so looking forward to seeing how the people receive this conversation. I know that they're going to find so many gems because you dropped so many gems throughout it. And I want to thank you for your time because I know you are a busy man and
No problem. No
you
problem.
have
Thank you
given
for
me,
having me.
of course, but you gave me something today that is the most important thing anybody can give you, and that is your time. And so I
I
am
appreciate
honored
it.
and I appreciate you.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed today's conversation, and it's something that It's one of those things where you have the conversation and you're like thinking about it later in the day, like, oh yeah, she said this, and you know what I'm saying, and it's something to savor. It's like leftovers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I appreciate you, Kamal.